is going on, Starcraft fans? I know we got a little bit of time left on the clock, but that's not important, you know? The one thing that we all know as StarCraft players is that we are always racing against the clock, always trying to make things a little bit faster, hit those benchmarks. So really, the fact that I'm early just means I executed my build order preparation more efficiently. That's what I'm gonna tell myself anyways. It's just like, you know, your mommy tells you you're special. Well, I'm telling myself that being early is a good thing, you know? So, I hope all of you are having a great night tonight. I'm more than a little tired. I've just got done cooking dinner, just got done making mistakes cooking dinner. I need some good StarCraft to wind down to get to the point where I can just not have to think about something. So that's why I'm going to be talking about the games and not playing in them. We got our last week of preseason in the books. There's going to be no more preseason. We got a couple weeks of break, and then we're going to have, you know, team draft, team selection, and getting into the actual season of CPL. I'm really looking forward to that. But, you know, let's go ahead and talk about some groups. Let's go ahead and talk about some players. And let's go ahead and get ready to see some games. What we got here is preseason week 3, group 3. So one of the lower groups still. Gonna be having some of the newer players of StarCraft. But we've got Invalidity, Strawberry, Microling, and WalksWithDead. We had one more player in the group. They were unable to play any games, so not going to be casting them. But overall, you can see the records that each of these players have over the preseason so far. With WalksWithDead not having any luck taking any games, but Strawberry and Microling at least putting up, you know, 1 and 3. And Invalidity definitely looking like the strongest by record in the group. But I'm pretty sure they play Protoss, so that really explains the whole ordeal. But let's just go ahead and get started. Week 3, we're going to be on Dominator for every single game. That is a 3-player map. Has all the pizza slices. I'm sure you're familiar with it. So without further ado, all that I'm going to do is just go ahead and get us going. Just realized I need to get the audio in. Sorry about that. All right. We do not have top versus bottom, so we've got the bad colors here. All right. First thing we've got is Invalidity over here is Protoss, like I expected, in the pink. And our black Zerg, very, very disgusting color, is, I believe... I don't remember what the name was. I can tell that I'm definitely paying a lot of attention, but we're gonna call them Madak, because that's their name on here. Anyways, so PvZ is really interesting. I'd heard somebody... this is Microling. Thank you there, Strawberry. I've heard somebody describe PvZ as being completely unwinnable at low ranks for the Zerg player and completely unlosable at high ranks. So there's really a lot of finesse, there's a lot of important timings, and we're going to want to keep an eye on just how both of these players go, what kind of builds they go for. Oh my god. Is Microling going for a 10 hatch? No, they're going for Extractor first. This is Overgas. This is not a build that I'm very familiar with, but I know that it is a build. So, like, this is not them completely freeballing. This is actually a build. I just don't know the intricacies of it. On the other side, looks like we've got probably a 9 gateway for Invalidity. Invalidity also has his scout coming over here. Sees the gas, sees no pool. Is probably more than a little bit confused at this point. Especially because there's nothing mining from the gas. So there's no pool, there's an empty gas, means that you can't steal from it, and Microling is actually going to try and drive off the probe with 2 drones. Not getting too much out of it. Trying to figure out, okay, am I going to set down a new hatch? Am I going to set down a spawning pool? Gets the spawning pool, sending one out for the hatch. Has a scout over here. Both them first location scouting. And 2 zealots queued up here for Invalidity. So even though we're not seeing a 2-gate, we're going to see some early zealots. Hey, thank you, Dada. I appreciate you. Gonna see some early zealots here, and I'm wondering if he's gonna be using that just to try and secure things, or if we're gonna see Invalidity trying to be aggressive with these early zealots, especially now that he realizes that the pool here was really late, and there's still not a lot of gas being mined, as well as, ooh, this hatch hasn't even come down. So Invalidity has the probe in here, but isn't aware of the hatch not going down. Starting up his second gateway, so we might see 2-gate pressure here. No cyber started yet. We've got Ling speed going here for Microling, and now he's going to try and drive off this probe with the 2 drones this time and gets it. So not a huge advantage that you get out of that, trying to wrangle some of the drones. We've got some Lings in production. And 2 zealots on the board with... We're going to have a lot more cup where that came from. So, right now, Invalidity has the economy to be able to just kind of pump zealots out of 2 gates, has the cyber coming in as well, so we might see us switch into, probably not Dragoons in PvZ, but moving into Protoss's tech tree. Possibly it's getting zealot speed. But really, Invalidity is playing this very defensive, doesn't even want to go for the natural expand, just clogging the ramp with zealots. These Lings coming out here, even with speed, I don't think they're going to get too much done. We do have the hatchery here coming down at the natural. Again, that was the drone had been sitting out there for quite a while, but just kind of getting overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff to take in consideration in a StarCraft game. So I really don't blame Microling for having had a little bit of trouble just getting things on time. We do have the lair coming up, so the gas is not being fully mined. Only 2 drones on gas. But the big thing here is, like, you have this idea of moving into tech. You've also got the Hydra Den, so, like, this is actually kind of hard to scout. Are we going to be seeing lurkers? Are we going to be seeing a spire? This looks like a spire. Or no. Okay, just pulling some workers down here to the new base. Really not a lot of units here. And even if you take a look at what Microling is building, it's just a couple of Lings and more drones. He seems to be really adamant about trying to drone up. Meanwhile, we do have a move out. We've also got the Sindel of Adun. Leg should be starting soon. Has the money for it, just hasn't started the tech. So if we get legs out here quickly on these zealots and no pressure onto the Protoss position, should have a pretty easy time of it early on. Big clash in the middle of the map. These Lings not able to get a full surround. They're gonna get 2 zealots, I think. But that is an easy pickings here for Invalidity zealots. And now coming across the map, yeah, Microling really needs to get some Sunkens down, really needs to get more Lings out on the map. And he was just in the middle of a tech transition as well, so this is going to be really rough for him. 1 Sunken at the natural, a creep colony coming into the main, but there are no defenses, and there's full larva. He's not even producing. This could be disastrous here for Microling. Invalidity sees blood in the water, ready to pounce. The zealots take out the Sunken before it can finish. Now on the worker line. There's no defenses here whatsoever. 2 Hydras at the natural. But in the meanwhile, the worker line being completely ravaged. This is looking very, very ugly if you're Microling. He is in full panic mode, trying to micro these Hydralisks back. There's only 7 drones on the map right now, and more than half of them are at the natural, and one's not even mining. He has to micro his Zerg little heart out to be able to make it through this, and even then, I don't think it's gonna work. Down to just so few drones. This last Zealot is going to die, but in comes more. They've got legs, and they're moving on the main. He's even got a pylon looking here. This is not StarCraft 2, folks. We're going to see cannons on the front line, most likely. Maybe even a shield battery. One Zealot going down here, but just absolute bedlam. Should be able to kill off the second Hydra. Now trying to move everything around. This Zealot will fall. What do we have in the backline here for Invalidity? He's got his natural coming down here. We have the Nexus. He has more Zealots in queue, but no more production here, really. However, if you take a look at the supply differential, we haven't even been able to get over 20 supply yet for Microling. He is very much in a panic situation. So these Lings and the Hydra are going to be coming out towards where the third location is, but he still doesn't have his drones working. He still doesn't have his main mining anything but gas at all, and there's an Evo chamber, so no Spire. So the tech options here for Microling are very limited, the economy is very limited, and the army is very limited. All that we need to do is see Invalidity make it through the next couple seconds. Yeah, just a little bit more units or a tech switch or something, but oh my god, these Lings running around this location may actually be able to flank. Now, one Sunken's not going to be enough to defend all of these Zealots. However, they could be able to counterattack coming from an unexpected angle. However, it's not going to be the case. Instead, the Zealots taking out that Sunken. There's no more defenses. Now, the Zerglings and that Hydra is coming back to the natural, but again, the Zealots finding such damage to the worker line. The economy back in ruins, back to where we were just a few minutes ago, and the Zealots, this time knowing no weakness, knowing no fear, mopping up the units. There's only what we can get in production, and GG is called. Microling going to have to concede here. What a game from Invalidity, though. I think this is the reason why Invalidity has had such a good record overall so far, being 2-1. Now, he hasn't had that many games. It's still preseason, so there's a lot that you can improve. But let's be real, it's low level and he's playing Protoss, so of course he's going to have a huge advantage. But let's just stick with it. Invalidity hasn't done too much in this series, but then again, none of these players have. We have 2 or 3 games per player. So let's go ahead and go on to Strawberry versus Invalidity. This is kind of our main character here because Strawberry is the one really who was like, hey, you should cast this series. So with that in mind, we have Strawberry versus Invalidity. Let's go ahead and update the score sheet real quick, just so, you know, all of us can keep track of where everything is. I'm not going to update their overall records because that's before we get into this. We don't know what order these games were played in, and that's fine. But, you know, Invalidity, 1 game over Microling. We've got Strawberry coming up with Invalidity. Going to be the same matchup again. Zerg versus Protoss. All right. So, do we have top versus bottom? Yes, we do. Somebody's been behaving. All right. So, Strawberry, this time in the top position on Dominator. Top position also, total nerd trivia. But, yeah, top position does have slightly better and easier mining than any other position on this map. And, down here in the bottom position, we have Invalidity, who is currently our reigning champion, and may be able to go undefeated in this group. Now, granted, he didn't play against WalksWithDead, but I've also seen WalksWithDead play before, and unless WalksWithDead has kind of really stepped his game up, I feel like Invalidity would take that one pretty well as well. But again, there's plenty of room for players to improve. One of the awesome things about being a new player at a game is you can make tremendously fast improvement at any game just because of the fact you learn to do things properly. So you get the option of like correcting mistakes that are very, very simple. When you get better at a game, the mistakes that you make tend to be more insidious and tend to be more difficult to correct. So even with that as an understanding, like, I talked about, WalksWithDead having had a couple of really rough games early on when I saw him play week 1, but now it's week 3. Could be vastly better in no time at all. Same with Strawberry. We've seen them play. We're seeing them play this game. Strawberry could have gotten so much better. So looking like an overpool timing, if I'm not mistaken. And the drones definitely play into that. Looks like a slow pool on overpool. Oh, Invalidity, WalksWithDead, your schedule didn't match this week. That's really unfortunate. I had a player in my group as well that I had a hard time playing against because for the same reasons. Just had a really busy week. But anyways, pool popping here, the big first question that we're going to want to see is how many Zerglings you get, if any at all. In this overpool in particular, we don't have the gas going down at all for Strawberry, so this is a gasless overpool into expand, so you do need some Zerglings to be able to play, especially before your scout hits. Invalidity seeing that, so if you are like more aware of the matchup, and you see a Zerg without gas and having that pool down, you know that they can only make Zerglings, so you can kind of bank on like... Depending on how many Zerglings you see him make, you might be able to get aggressive with your Zealots. It's actually not a bad opportunity to go for a 2-gate, or you can also just take your own expansion because they can't really pressure. But like, there's a lot of options that you have, but it's a... Oh, this is actually insane! He stole the gas from the Zerg, so that means that there's a huge delay on getting the Hydras. He's actually taking the gas at the natural. Oh my lord, so you can't even mine gas up close until you either kill the assimilator or get the hatchery down at the natural. This is a disaster for the timing of Strawberries. Oh my lord. So yeah, timing's economy right now is just kind of in shambles. We've got the, we've got 8 Zerglings here. Gonna be going across the map because that's really all that he can do is he can make drones, he can make Zerglings, and finally starting to get the gas, has the expansion running, but really behind on the economy. However, Invalidity over here, not really taking a huge advantage of it, doesn't have the natural up yet, no forge. Instead, just going for really heavy drones and having a little bit of difficulty getting the probes wrangled. So this is actually going to be really impactful because he's behind on the Zealots. This Zergling Flood, these 8 Lings, they're not going to be able to take out 3 Zealots as long as the Zealots are decently controlled, but they get the first surround here. They might be able to take this on, depends on how they match up here. No, okay, the Lings are driven away. But getting that first pick off was very, very big. And they're actually going to make it into the worker line. Oh no! Invalidity just not spotting these guys sticking around. That's a couple of extra worker kills here. That's really big for Strawberry. And Strawberry's down on drones pretty hard. Only at 9 drones. This is very much like a low econ opener. But at the same time, he got some damage out there, less than he would like. And he got a full scout of the base, knows that there's the cyber core. So, I feel like I would be unhappy if I were in Strawberry's position, but that's because I'm a much more economical Zerg. Like, I really don't like playing these super lean openers. But, oof. Only 2 drones on gas at the moment. Also, supply blocked. Now, you're gonna expect to be down on supply in the early game as Zerg. It's just the kind of way that the curves work. But Invalidity here has a pretty robust worker count for 1 base. Has good supply count, and if he manages to just move everything out to the natural, should be getting his second Nexus soon. But the big thing here is Strawberry has 3 bases already, just doesn't have the drones to really support that. So really needs to get these drones out there and mining minerals to get the econ ramped up. But these Zerglings gonna run by again. Can they get any damage on the economy? A little bit of lost mining time, but not any worker kills. So pretty good parry overall from Invalidity. but Strawberry is droning up, and is droning up relatively quickly. Having a little bit of issues managing 3 bases, but again, we're dealing with Group 3. We're dealing with relatively low-level players. We can't, like, go ahead and judge them for how well they do or don't manage multiple bases of workers. It's a hard thing to do and get used to. Natural coming up here for Invalidity. I mean, he's got a pretty robust force. This is actually really unusual, seeing this many Dragoons this early on in PvZ. Almost feels a little bit like Rain style, who really does favor Dragoons in the matchup. Typically, until you get High Templar, most of the Protoss that I see end up going more Zealot heavy, then a High Templar, and then once you get a couple of upgrades, switch into Dragoons. But in this case, it's actually a really even force between the Dragoons and the Zealots, and I feel like he's actually going to have a really good chance of getting some serious damage here. There's no Sunkens, there's only a couple of Hydras, we only have a few Lings being produced, so there's not a big army of Zerglings here to deal with the Dragoons. And now, I don't know if Strawberry saw these guys coming across the map, if he noticed that quick pickoff, but if he didn't, he really... Okay, yeah, he's got the creep colonies coming down. He's going to be looking for the Sunkens, pulling the Hydras back, but this is a lot of opportunity for a lot of damage. First Dragoon going down, the Zealots moving in on top of the Hydras. They take less damage after the shields are gone away. Moving in onto the drone line, Invalidity's been fantastic so far in these games at targeting the workers and finding damage there. These Zealots, I think they're going to take out all of the Zerglings and potentially Hydras. They might get into the worker line as well. Yeah, Invalidity's going for both bases at the same time. The worker count for Strawberry is plummeting, and he's having such a hard time clearing out these Zealots. Meanwhile, the natural might just go down. There's 4 Dragoons. There's no defenses. There's no Sunkens. And there's going to be no workers here in just a moment. 1 Hydra, that's not enough to defend this. Is there anything being produced at the 3rd? Looks like only a couple of Zerglings and a Hydra. That's not going to be enough to push this away. This is critical now for Strawbles. Again, down to 7 workers. That's the same number that we saw Microling go down to, and that feels like a real death knell for Zerg. Both games, when you go down to that few workers, it's so hard to come back. And I mean, that's any case, any faction. If you have 7 workers and you're defending, you're in major, major trouble. GG is called. Invalidity, king of the group. Well played. And I was listening to you out there in Twitchland, Starcraft Butt War, talking about how you can go 5 hatch before gas, don't necessarily need gas right away. In these cases, definitely that would work as well, because we're not seeing wall-ins. But overall, I think that unless you're looking for a very niche idea of like just really heavy Ling play, I do think that you're going to want to have that gas sooner in most cases. It's not saying all. I'm not saying it's like a hard and fast rule. Just general idea. All right, so Invalidity taking that one, and that's going to be all we have for that player in the rest of the series. Now, I know everyone's here for Strawberry, but I want to jump around a little bit here, because... No, not gas first. Admiral Blastoise. So, I want to go ahead and take a quick look, though, at WalksWithDead versus Microling, because, frankly, I feel like there's a lot of, I feel like this is going to be a really interesting match before we go into Strawberry versus WalksWithDead. So, you know what? I just took a look at the duration of this one. Let's hold off. Let's hold off. We'll make that one our capstone. We'll make that one our capstone. Okay. Let's just keep this one going then the way we got it in order. This is going to be Strawberry versus WalksWithDead. Apparently Strawberry out in Twitch chat was saying the Invalidity beat them twice, but they both failed to upload it last week. That's funny. Man, administrative overhead is actually so hard. All right. We've still got the we got top versus bottom setup here. Strawberry having a bit of a tough split. And same here for WalksWithDead. So both of them having not necessarily the best opening as far as just the workers are showing up here. But the thing to note is that neither of them are in the top position here on Dominator. So the mining, you don't have the natural boost from one of the patches where you don't need to mineral boost. And again, it's not going to make a big difference at low levels, except for the fact that, like, because you're not mineral boosting, having an auto boost is actually kind of a big deal when you're in Group 3. Or not Group 3, when you're in Tier 3. So I feel like economically, this game's going to be a lot more even. Now, granted, that top position didn't do any favors for Straubel's last game. So, again, it's things that don't matter. But it's fun trivia, and it's fun stuff to talk about when we're waiting for the builds to come in. Straubel's here actually going to be going for a 9 hatch. Is this even a build? Is 9 hatch a build? Straubel's coming out here with the absolute trivia, doing stuff I have never seen before, and claiming it's a build. I'm not saying that you're claiming it's a build, but I'm saying that you're passing it off. You have the confidence to go out there and be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. It's off the wall, and I'm gonna make it work. And we got Firecraft Buttwar out there saying, yes, this is a build. Okay, extra larva for lings. I guess I really do gotta learn all of the cracked early ling aggression builds. Not sure what we've got here with these workers. We're gonna be going for extra drones, and this is just a scout. Okay, so that was just an accidental pool of 2 workers instead of 1. Okay, barracks over here gonna be looking to try and wall in against the gas. I don't think that that is ling tight, but that's okay. It might not be okay, though, because of the fact that, on this map, it looks like Straubel's is really going for a ling opener. So, maybe with that 9 hatch, it's going to be a big deal. Anyone who knows, let me know if this is going to be a ling-tight wall. It definitely is not the way that this supply depot is going in here. This is, SimCity is hard. SimCity is very hard. Let's just put it that way. Drone trying to lay down a little bit of harass. Now, this is definitely not pro-level players, so I don't expect to see a, I don't expect to see any kind of the crazy worker harass micro. Alright, we got saying that is not even capable of being a wall out there in chat. So people who know a little more than I do are telling me that, oh my lord, Straubel's picks off an SCV. But okay, just gonna be using that to try and, like, prevent things from running around over here while he has a bunker on this front line. So it's a weird SimCity, but it's still, like, capable, you know? Alright, we have a bunch of lings coming out here. 6 lings so far for Straubel's, and definitely more where that came from, but not super commit. Oh, it's because he's supply blocked. So yeah, we're gonna see a big ling push here. Yo, Mick Terran, you gotta go ahead and write in that, casting request channel over in the CPL Discord. That's where I get my inspiration from. Y'all are my muses. Alright, so 6 lings gonna be running flat into a full bunker. Are they gonna run by, though? Are they gonna be able to run by? Nah, they're gonna go ahead and just get absolutely slaughtered. Yeah, Crimson Joe, this is a rematch. This is the grudge match. So WalksWithDead has not managed to take a single CPL win yet prior to this group. And he's really looking for it here. So, I mean, we've got, like, Die Hard with a Vengeance. And Straubel was going for this ling-heavy opener, but not able to break through the bunker. So now he's got to switch back over to droning up, and we got to wonder, you know, is this WalksWithDead's turning point? Is this where the resolve comes in, where he says, you are not going to defeat me? I have been learning since week 1. I have been improving because I'm a new player. Jungie, the caster is staged. I am the caster. It's my channel. We go ahead and we just fire it up. We run the energy the whole way through. We just make everything feel like it's important. All right, so a lot of supply depot. Oh my God, you know what he's doing? Oh shoot! Thank you. I'm usually so good about that. You know what it is that WalksWithDead is doing is he's setting up. I think they're called like bollards or what's the term for the, like, pickets they would use on the Normandy beach, where it would mean that, like, the tanks couldn't get through? Because that's what he's setting up here. He's not actually making full walls, he's just making it really hard to get through. So this is going to be really bad if he comes out with mech, but if he just stays with bio, it's actually going to be really interesting seeing anything try and get through to attack stuff. Now, again, not the best approach, especially when you have your Marines hanging out here to dry, because I think they're already about to get washed by these Zerglings. Ooh, absolutely through the spin cycle. And now, let's see if he can break through. Looking to run by. And they're on the workers. The bunker getting a little bit of damage in there, but he's got to unload. He's got the Marines here, but oh my God, look at the workers just absolutely explode. Straubles says, I know you want your run back, Mr. Sir, but I'm not going to give it to you for free. Granted, he's still having a really hard time controlling those Zerglings. They're going every which way, but one of them gets into the worker line. The other one gets cut down on the back end. The workers trying to deal with it, and WalksWithDead making the workers earn their pay, killing off that last Zergling. But now, he's really got to get these workers back in business. He had pulled them. They're running back to the mineral line. And he's going to be running that economy again. Needs to get a couple more barracks, though. You really can't run this off of just 2 racks. Need to get at least 4 or 5, I think, is about where you want to be. Meanwhile, over here, we've got 3 bases for Straubles. Again, played the same in Protoss, or in ZVP, now doing it in ZVT. He's got the Queen's Nest coming down as well, and are we actually going to see Mutalisks? What kind of Muta control are we going to see out of Straubles? He's got more gas that he can run it through, but he's also looking to play kind of a crazy Zerg style. That Queen's Nest definitely tells us he's going for Hive, he's going for Ultras, and he's looking for Pain. However, he doesn't have the gas to maintain it yet. Has 2 bases fully mining, 3rd one just getting transferred over to it now, so recognizing he needs gas out of the 3rd. And even though he's got a couple of mutas, he's not... Alright, we got a big wave coming in here now. So a lot of mutas. What do we have for defense over here on WalksWithDead? Some Marine Medic, almost a full control group. A couple of missile turrets, actually really nice missile turret placement over here at the natural. How about at the main? The main is mostly empty, but a couple of missile turrets to cover here. The problem is these Mutalisks can get in behind over here and wreak havoc. So we're going to have to see how Strawberry manages to get his Muta control up. Has it stacked with an Overlord somewhere in the back? I think I see where the Overlord is. But now, going to try and run by the missile turrets. Running by 2, finds that hole, and he's going to be going to give holy hell to the worker line. Let's see. They started out at 27 workers. We're down to 24, and it's only looking worse here. Running over to the natural. The natural is well defended. But 5 workers down so far, and now into the natural worker line. But there are turrets here, not repairing the missile turret, not gonna be able to save that one. But the Mutalisks are starting to fall. 2 go down from the static defense. And building up the missile turrets now behind the mineral line, but it's not gonna be enough, I don't think. There's still holes there, and these mutas are happy to try and exploit it. Going to be operating at maximum range, but there's not too much more to gain, and the hole is rapidly shrinking. In fact, there is no hole left there anymore. Everywhere is covered by turrets, and these mutas are going to have to retreat with their... Do they even have a tail? They're flying shrimp. Oh my, that is a lot more mutalisks. That is a lot more mutalisks. We might just see a big old push with mutas. Forget the crazy Zerg, forget the hive tech. We're just going mad with the shrimp. This is some red lobster time right now. We've got the red shrimp. I know it's usually the shrimp are supposed to turn kind of like an orangish pink, but just trust me on this one. This is seafood sensations. Oh yeah, full control group plus the stack. Bubba Gump Zerb is incoming. Absolutely right, Man Shark. But again, he's not able to find anywhere to poke and prod at. These are going to get absolutely massacred. Losing 2 mutalisks, looking for a spot now, but there's missile turrets all over, and there's no workers to kill here. Bringing down 1 turret, maybe a couple more workers. WalksWithDead is actually critically low on workers. He's not been rebuilding his workers. He's down to 14 workers. Oh no. This is looking really bad as well. There's chaos inside the mineral line at the main. Hasn't been restoring them to work. This might be a lethal blow to the economy. WalksWithDead is so nearly out of resources, out of economy, and out of options. He's just gonna go ahead and try and push across the map. Forget your workers, your mutalisks, man. Forget your harassment. I just wanna go and kill ya. If this is Die Hard, this is the vengeance. But oh my god, there's more where that came from. A huge squadron of mutalisks just ready to absolutely crush the Marines. But are they going to be able to? They're melting in the face of the Marines. They've got +1 guns. I don't think there's enough, though, to break the Sunken and the mutas. The medics coming forward, the Marines coming forward, needs to re-hotkey everything. And, oh my god, just the flight of the Overlords running away, trying to keep his supply cap intact. We might be seeing as close to a base race as you get here, but the problem is Stravels has so much economy behind this. WalksWithDead needs to get the damage, and he needs to get it now, and it's not going to have the chance instead. Oh my god, he's crushing the mutas. There's no mutas left. Looking for the Lings now, looking to break in the Sunken. There's only 1 Sunken here, has to stim up, stims onto the Sunken. The medic's healing everything up. You need to go in now, you need to get this damage. Backstab with the Lings, but oh my god, you need to keep firing, keep firing, keep firing. Yes! WalksWithDead may make it happen. He could be the captain, but he's turning on the eggs instead. Oh no, he's not controlling, he's just stim and burn, baby. Here come the mutas, trying to run away. More rally points coming in, but they're just getting gunned down. These medics are earning their promotions. First lieutenant, bring them up to staff sergeant. These medics are the absolute heroes of this fight. WalksWithDead taking out the natural. He's got to move on for more, though. There's 3 more bases where that came from for Stravels. Now looking into the main, we've got creep colonies coming, but it's a long way from being Sunkens. WalksWithDead, you've only got 10 workers remaining, and your economy is in shambles. There is literally no mineral mining for WalksWithDead. This is all or nothing. The Lings never making it in to connect. Finding the Sunken before it comes down. He might do it. WalksWithDead has no income. He's aiming for the hive. He's focusing the hive. What's Stravels coming in here with now? We've got an army of Lings, but again, the Lings haven't been able to touch it. But oh no, it's the focus fire. The Marines turning around. He loses a handful. He's only got 6 Marines left. I think he had 10 previously. And oh no. The drones were in production. The hive is down. No drones left at the main, but WalksWithDead is still going and ripping away at the buildings here. He's not going after the expansions. He doesn't even know the expansions are there. There is still no mineral mining for WalksWithDead. You have got to be kidding me, man. This is wild. Mining is looking pretty good, though, over here. He can't... I actually don't know if you can make ultras if you have the cavern and no hive. This is never a situation that I've been in. I think you can. But, I mean, now he's going to need to rebuild the... Oh, my God. WalksWithDead left the spawning pool. He left with spawning pool. He left the spawning pool. We can still get lings. Oh. However, these are not turning into sunken. Strubbles is just in panic mode, trying to get an extra base out there, trying to manage his economy. He's got an ultra coming, but he has only 19 drones, and finally WalksWithDead has started to mine again. Not very heavily. He has one SCV, two SCVs mining minerals. In come the mutas again. The mutas taking out the last remaining SCVs that are mining minerals. The rest of them have taken cover somewhere. There's still 9 SCVs that have just run off to no man's land. Okay, no. There's 3 of them mining over here, and the rest have taken cover. They're on buildings. What do we have here from the Marines? They're barely scratching at the extractor. Now gonna be looking for any straggling units. Oh my God, we have SCVs out on the front line as well. Did they get rallied across? Was that a misrally? What is going on? Big drone cycles here for Strubbles, trying to find any opportunity. He's got 1 Ultralisk, doesn't have the armor up yet. He's not even making SCVs. What? Oh. Okay. WalksWithDead has recognized, okay, I need to get my economy back up. He started queuing SCVs. Oh. But he's floating out of barracks. What is the barracks here for? Is he gonna be spotted? Well, this is so big brain. I don't even know if WalksWithDead has the idea. He's just like, I've seen pros do this before. I've seen them float barracks. I need to float a barracks to know what's going on here. 2 ultras and 3 mutas. Now, if he floats the barracks over the medics and surrounds the Marines with the medics, the ultras actually can't hit the Marines. He's not gonna do it, but I know it is a possibility. But oh boy. Here come the ultras, the big elephants ripping and tearing through the Marines. The Marines are gone. They are doomed. I think Strubbles is going to take this one, but this is absolute bedlam, and anyone who's played this kind of game knows that this is the scariest thing to get into an endgame, because you are in such chaos. Your stuff is all over the map. Your hotkeys are completely ruined, and it's so easy to miss out on anything. You can have 1 extra drone on gas. You can have no idea where your rally points are set. And ultimately, just keeping track of everything is the hardest part of the game. So I think that even though Strubbles is massively ahead, I don't think he feels like it right now. I think he is still in full panic mode, even with this Mutalisk coming out and throwing as much harass as he can onto the main. 2 Marines. Going to be enough to take down that Muta. So buys a little bit more breathing room here for WalksWithDead. WalksWithDead now trying to get some space to mine. He's got 3 idle SCVs at the main, no Marines in production, working on an armory. Are we gonna see a switch to mech? Is that what he's actually going to go for here? Scouting around with the barracks. I think does he know about, he knows about 1 base. Does he know about 2 base? He knows about 2 base. All right, so WalksWithDead is aware now that there is 2 bases up, but does not know about the base in the south. And that could be the clincher, honestly, for Strubbles. Not to say that Strubbles is in any danger at the moment, but WalksWithDead is definitely going to be panicking. He's going to be like, oh, he's got 2 bases, I've got 2 bases. All right, we're even. He's actually really going crazy with these SCVs. He's getting his economy back up. Strubbles suddenly is not, like, ahead by an outrageous margin. And Strubbles is just focusing right now on getting more Mutalisks. Again, just going to go for that gigantic squad of Mutas to try and end this game. And it worked the first time, but it didn't end the game. Will it work the second time? WalksWithDead still struggling with his production, trying to switch over. We've actually got Wraiths. Double starport Wraith from WalksWithDead. We have a full tech switch. He says, all right, the Marine Medic didn't work. It's time to try something different. You've got Sunkens up. You know what Sunkens can't hit? Air. You know what Ultralisks can't hit? Wraiths. That's right. We're making a full-on tech switch. And they might match up okay against Mutalisks, but not in these kind of numbers. This is, again, a full stacked control group with an Overlord somewhere for Strawberry. And this is going to absolutely shred those Wraiths if he finds them and gets on top of them. You know what you need right now, WalksWithDead? You need a Valkyrie. That means you need a control tower, and that's what he's getting. I think he's thinking Valkyrie, and I am here for it, baby. The Mutas are mobilizing. They're going to look for the back of it, the natural. And you're right. McTarran saying that he's going for Cloak. It's very possible that we see Cloak here, but I really want to see the Psychic Valkyrie. All right. The bunker's only got 2 Marines in it, 2 of the missile turrets going down, and now we're going to have the 2 Wraiths trying to be heroes. But is this David Bowie? No, they cannot be heroes, not even just for one day. We've got Vultures as well. That's not going to do anything against these Mutalisks, but we got nothing in production. I think this could be the end. We could be seeing an imminent GG. The Mutas here just absolutely wrecking house, and this time WalksWithDead doesn't have the standing army. Strawberry just happy to let them go to town on the command center. Has a little ground force coming across the map as well to mop up. I think this is where it ends. We had a fantastic game. We had WalksWithDead looking to be Bruce Willis at the Nakatomi Plaza, but unfortunately, this is 2025 and Bruce Willis is not in the best of health. So I think WalksWithDead is going to unfortunately maintain his losing streak, but honestly, this is such a vast improvement from week 1. WalksWithDead, if you're out there looking at this, if you look at the VOD, if you happen to see this, I want you to know I am proud of you. And I'm not saying that in a patronizing manner. I'm saying that as a caster. I'm saying that as someone who has seen your improvement. You have been absolutely kicking ass, and I want to see where your Brood War journey goes. The front line, more Mutalisks. We've got Lurkers. We've got Ultralisks. They're gonna julienne and slice and dice apart the remaining buildings. And Strables takes the game. What a fantastic run here. What a fantastic game. What is it with the 40 some odd APM that we get? It's not that it's low, it's that it's consistently in the 40s. There's gotta be like some kind of biomechanics behind that, you know? All right. I'm forgetting where my hotkeys are. I'm so excited about these games. I'm not even paying attention to the scenes. I'm not paying attention to anything, man. I am enjoying this. God. I know that everybody who plays this game is always like, man, this is the greatest game of all time. Everybody who casts this game is like, man, this is the greatest game of all time. But you know what? Even at a low level, it's still really enjoyable to watch. It's still really enjoyable to play. Yeah, it's not the same ballet and dance and like magic that we see at a high level. But goddamn if there is not drama and there is not excitement. And speaking of excitement and drama and knife fights and phone booths, yo, we got a ZVZ coming up here, and we got them with 2 players that have basically the same ratio record going into this week. That's right, we got 1-3 versus 2-6. Strawberry and Microling. I want to see this one. We talked about Runback Edition, but this This is like going to be evenly matched. Here we go. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. If this game goes beyond 5 minutes, I'm going to be very disappointed. Oh no, we got no top versus bottom. Alright, we got the magenta Zerg for Straubles, and Microling with his traditional black, making it impossible to see him on the mini-map. Up in the top. So, Microling getting my favorite spawn on this map. He gets to have the free mining. And over here, Straubles having the right side. Gonna have to see how the scouts go, how the builds go. This is... Every time I've got to play a Zerg versus Zerg, I get so nervous. Oh my god, you rat. Are you going for a 7 pool? He stopped making workers at 7. He's building up the minerals. Microling. That is illegal. This is a 7 pool out of Microling. Go ahead, take a look. Watch the workers. Where are they going? What are you doing, boy? Oh, no. He's not going for 7 pool. He just got a little bit of panic. He arrived at panic station. He was like, all right, man, I got to move my overlord. I got to make sure that it's going the right way. Oh, wait, where's my minerals? Why are my minerals going so high? No 7 pool. Here we go. Over pool. Maybe. He's got the money. Is he going for the pool? What do we got here? Meanwhile, 9 pool extractor trick out of Straubles. Very not even 9 pool extractor trick, just 9 pool with the extractor. So that's still really good for, like, that's the standard 9 pool where you don't have to worry about doing the extractor trick and you're still efficient on your whatchamacallit, on your larva. But oh my god, we've got a hatch first here out of Microling. All right, you've really got to get your pool though. You're against a 9 pool. He's sending out 1 drone to scout. What's this guy doing? He's gonna scout boat. No, okay, just a little bit of a misrally. Where's the pool? Where's the beef, man? Oh no, the pool is completely done. The lings are coming, and the pool is just getting... It's not even just getting... Okay, the pool is just coming down here now. So, I mean, this could be a game over just off of the build order. The lings moving out. Now, Straubles screwed up with the scout a little bit, but having recognized that... Oh, no, he didn't. Sees there's nothing over here. The lings are coming. We've got 6 lings going across the map. The pool is not done. It's not even half done yet. These are going to make it there before the pool finishes up. Now, what you've got to do is you can't get distracted by the hatch. You have to go immediately for the workers. Strawberry agrees. No, he turns back. He's going after just 1. This is buying time that is desperately needed. Looking for the second worker. Any time that you give Microling here is so important. Oh no, the game is gonna keep going on. He's going after the natural instead of after the workers. This is still gonna be an opportunity. Microling setting up 2 creep colonies in the main. He's willing to sacrifice his natural, but he's going to survive. He's going to have double sunken, and he's going to have 6 lings out here. This is... I play the board game called Go, and this is a life and death problem where Purple has decided that he wants to make the only move that allows Black to live. This is exactly what's happened. So Microling is going to continue this game. And this is going to be really dangerous now because of the fact you really want to have all of these Zerglings alive. I think that Straubles actually needs to pull back and just contain on the high ground. You can't go after the workers. You get onto the high ground, you make a conga line up there. That's going to make it really hard for Microling to break out, and then you take your natural. Or you even just go for the lair. Right now, Microling's not even on gas. You can get the lair, you can get the spire. Actually, the spire is coming for Microling, so that's exactly what he's waiting for. And oh, beautiful surround here. But this many lings, I don't think you can bust through the sunkens. However, he's going to go around back, try and look for the ones that are on mining. Only one's able to fire. All right, so a couple of them just getting picked apart at max range by the Sunken. If he sees that he's not mining gas, this is gonna be just like a green light for Strawbles. Oh, absolutely. Strawbles is really happy right now. He sees there's no gas being mined. And this has just gotta be like, okay, as soon as I get my Spire done, as soon as I get Mutas out, this game is Jover. Like, there's not even an Evo chamber here. I am just so happy. And yup, here comes 2 Mutalisks. You have to get the Evo chamber right this second if you're Microling. You can't afford to do anything else but get the Evo chamber. He's actually going for the natural again. Now, if the Mutalisks get distracted, there might be a chance for Microling. But he doesn't have any gas mining. Doesn't have... Oh yeah, he's gonna finally start on the gas. And he's just gonna keep going for drones, basically. He's like, okay, I'm stuck in my main, but you know what? It's gonna be really hard for you to break into the main. He's gonna have a hard time defending the natural, though. And here come the Mutas. And there is nothing to stop them. This should just be GG right away. There is literally nothing that Microling can do here. He has to get an Evo chamber. He has to get spores. He has to get a Hydra Den something. But, okay, there's the Hydra Den. He's going to use that to save one of the workers. But even then, we have literally no mining occurring at this point. At least we're about to have no mining occurring. And Strawbles can literally do anything that he wants to. He's upgrading Overlord Sight, for goodness sakes. That is how much of a dominant position Microling feels like he's in right now. There is only 1 drone remaining, and Microling still has not GG'd. He's like, I can do this, buddy. I can do this. I have a bank. I have Hydras coming. I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen. Oh, actually, he's counterattacking here. So, 6lings made it in. And there's a little bit of chaos happening here, but again, you've got 1 Muta to mop it up. This is actually really doing a number on Strawbles, though. Whew. Now that's, I'm blaming missing that one on the color that Microling uses. I couldn't see the black on the minimap. I'm also saying that's the reason why Strawbles got hit by it too. But down go the Hydras. There's still no production here. And the GG is finally called. The knife fight in a phone booth has ended. And it has ended in the favor of Strawberry. Yeah! Strawberry out there in chat saying that he had the invisible Ling upgrade. Dude, I swear, some people are just like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna choose the hardest colors to see on the minimap. And it's just like, you monster. You absolute buffoon. You horrendous person. You're going out there and trying to take every little bit of advantage that you can. These colors weren't even in the original game. And you're like, yeah, man. Look at me. You can't look at me. I'm John Cena. You can't see me. But you know what? Strawbles says, I'm just better. You didn't have your gas. You didn't get mutas. You lost the foot race. So Strawbles taking that one 1-0. Does a pretty good job in that series, honestly. We've got 2-1 for Strawbles, and that's going to be the end for him. But we have ourselves a capstone. I was going to do this, and then I looked at the length, and I said, no. We are not doing this in the middle of the set. Instead, WalksWithDead and Microling, we have ourselves a game. I'm not saying it's fast. I'm not saying it's slow. I'm not saying that I'm fast or slow. I'm just saying this is a game, baby. Let's make it happen. Let's close the night out. Week 3, Group 3, WalksWithDead versus Microling. Let's get it. Alright, do we have top versus bottom? No, we do not, but we do have some very, very classy colors. So, Microling, giving us a little bit of mercy by going with the purple. Ooh, I love me a purple Zerg, baby. And we've got ourselves the teal Terran, a little bit of alliteration at the top with WalksWithDead. And you know, I talked about WalksWithDead, me being proud of him, seeing the improvement. This is where I really want to see it. I want to see this man come out of his shell, get his first CPL preseason win going into the teams. I want to see this caterpillar turn into a butterfly right here and now. Not to say that I'm not rooting for Microling, because, you know, he is a Zerg player, I'm a Zerg player, you know, we're kind of kindred. We're part of different broods, but same Cerebrit, or same Overmind. But I'm just saying, the storyline is so much better for WalksWithDead. The storyline is what I'm here for as a caster. As a player, I'm all about Microling, but as a caster, ooh, yeah, WalksWithDead. That's where it's at. So we got ourselves a relatively early scout here for WalksWithDead. He's like, I don't want you cheesing me. And Microling kind of popping around a little bit, just like, I do want to scout, I don't want to scout, I'm not sure what I want to do with this. But looks like we do have a overpool for Microling here with an early scout. And I think he's going to first location scout this. This is actually really important as well because of the fact it is really easy on this map to BBS. I actually got taken out by one this week, and I'm still angry over it 3 days later. So getting the early scout out there, spotting the barracks in the base is going to make you breathe a little sigh of relief. It's like, okay, I'm not being cheesed. This isn't too crazy. Everything is standard. Like, I'm happy. You don't necessarily know, like, okay, is there going to be a second barracks? Has he spent all of his money? Is he buying me a car? Is he buying me a diamond ring? But, you know, you see the barracks there, you're like, okay, there's not a barracks in the middle of the map. At least if there is, it's probably, he's got one here too, you know? It's not double. Alright, so we have one Ling Overpool variant with the Hydra Den. Ooh, we're gonna get us some Hydras in ZVT? Woo-hoo. That is a little spicy, baby. Alright, Overlord walking into the base. We got 2 Marines. You can go ahead and supply block him, boy. All you gotta do is right click on him. He's gonna right click right on by. WalksWithDead is gonna walk onto the front line, look for this drone instead of the Overlord. I can support it. Drones can mine minerals, Overlords can't. The bunker on the front line. He's got the money for the expand, just a little bit overwhelmed right now. Literally screaming, shoot him on Discord. I love it, baby. But gonna go ahead and populate that bunker. We got ourselves the natural coming down as well. This is actually fantastic for Terran. His command center coming down before the natural here for Microling. Microling probably ran out of minerals as he was trying to expand. It's an easy thing to happen. I think what we're going to see here is a lair rush for lurkers from Microling, but he hasn't started his lair yet, so just kind of having trouble figuring out the rhythm of the economy. He's got to feel the rhythm, man. It's I play a little bit of Street Fighter, and I can't do a Jamaican accent, but just trust me, I was thinking DJ the whole time. The Ninja Overlord gets in and gets out without being accosted at all by Marines. What a Chad. What a Chad Overlord. Yo, yo, yo. This guy right here, if he dies throughout this game, it's going to be a war crime. Oh, all right, though. Microling, he's taken after Strawberry, says, all right, you know what? I didn't see no wall. I didn't hear no bell. I'm just going to go ahead and take an entire squad of Lings across the map. I've got speed, too. What are you going to do? I mean, we do have this bunker full. Trying to set up a little bit of wall Microling, he's not running by, he's going right after the bunker. This is probably the worst decision he could have made. Takes out the bunker. 12 lings is enough, but it's not enough to get the Marines too. The Marines hold it back. And they're gonna see the Overlord. Is he gonna take out the Overlord? This was our Chad. This was the chosen one. He was supposed to bring balance to the supply. Anakin, no. Anakin's gonna get away. He's gonna go to the dark side of the base. What a hero, Overlord. He's bringing balance to the supply. Absolutely incredible here. And WalksWithDead is crushing it on his SCV production. He might not have the barracks supply, or the barracks count and the production that he needs, but the man is running them SCVs. He's running them jewels. And he's going for the factory. Are we gonna see Mech Terran? Excuse me, I'm coughing because I'm just so excited over this. Are we gonna see Mech Terran against Fast Lurker? Well, Tier 3 Fast Lurker. Like, this could be some real unorthodox play here. I am... Oh. Alright, so... Overall, though, both these players just kind of building up, but not having an easy time of spending. I like what we've got here out of WalksWithDead. He's actually got 2 factories on the way. He says, all right, we're just going to go full-on factory, like full-on mech. And meanwhile, I think that Microling not having any vision there is really paranoid. So he just goes 2 Sunkens. He's not going for a 3rd. And he's having a hard time droning up, actually. You know, it's 7 minutes into the game, and he hasn't fully saturated his natural. Now, once these drones come here and take care of that, he should. He's also going to be taking the 3rd, the low ground at the pizza slice. No, is he gonna take with the other main? Is he gonna take the right side main? Nope. Okay. Gonna be going for the, getting as much distance away from Walks as possible. I do like that decision. And I mean, the timing is obviously late, but you kind of expect that every time that you're dealing with a, like, low-level game. All the timings are going to be late, but the real question is, are your ideas going to be there? Because as you get more comfortable with the game, your timings will get better. You will get faster. You will... You will catch up, and the limiting factor may be your hands, but, like, it's going to be something that you're able to think about what you want to do more. However, it's important to have the right ideas, so as you become more fluid, as you get better at doing things, that you have to think about, like, what is the right thing to do less. I think this vulture is stuck here. We've actually got spider mines researched. I don't know if we have speed. We do have 1 add-on, so we can get tanks, but we're not at the moment. We're actually going for starport. WalksWithDead really, really likes to have his wraiths out there. I think we might see wraiths. We might be seeing cloak wraiths, in fact. It's always spicy against Zerg, but I'm here for it. Even if you just go hunting overlords with wraiths, I enjoy it. All right, Microling gets himself supply blocked though. Everyone joking in Twitch chat about what maps we're gonna have in future weeks of preseason. Jokes on them though. This is the end of preseason. We're not gonna have no 76, no roaring currents. Although I do love those crazy ASL maps, man. If it wasn't for the fact that I feel like you have to spend so much brain power thinking about them, I would love to play on them. Yeah, especially Death Valley. Like, oh my god, Death Valley was the coolest map. All right, big move out here from Microling. He's only got 20 drones, so this is going to be 20 army supply out on the map. But he's not going just yet. He's just like, all right, I'm not sure if I feel comfortable moving out here. On the other side... Walk with Dead out there in chat talking about his garbage schedule and garbage play. Or packed schedule and garbage play. I guess a packed schedule is a garbage schedule. But you know, man, I was saying before, Walks Dead, I was saying before, in your game against Strawberry, I was genuinely proud. I was genuinely proud. And I saw you play week 1, and I'm seeing you play now, and I am seeing the progress. I am seeing the progression. I am seeing you level up in real time, and nothing makes me happier as a caster and as a fellow learner than seeing people learn and level up in real time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This is a hard game. This is a stinking hard game. And if you're hard on yourself the way the game is hard on you, it's only gonna get harder. All right, big move out here, making it onto the pizza slice. The tank's not sieged up yet, but will he siege up? Will he be aware of it? The tank's moving forward now. They're onto the staging ground. The vulture's moving out. They're gonna go to low ground though, setting up mines over here. The tank's moving back. He's gonna be looking for a siege up, but the Marines absolutely shredding those Zerglings. And now it's just the Hydras. Hydra's terrible against Marines, especially with medics there. And the flanking from, oh my God, that mine absolutely crushing it. Vulture chasing it down. There's only one Hydralisk that gets away, and that's the one that lives to tell the tale. He's gonna go walking home and say, don't go there, guys. They skin us and eat us there. Okay, out in Twitch chat. I gotta get, oh, he's just getting seed mode now. I gotta get one of those integrations that lets you see Twitch chat on the stream. Because we got What Would WalksWithDead Do out there, or WWWD. And, you know, I love it. This is a fan favorite out there for sure. And again, this is nothing against Microling. It's just, the story is there. After how close that game was against Strawberry, after how valiant of an effort it was there, and after the fact that, and this is not me dissing you, up to this point, we have not seen a game win. We have not seen a game win from WalksWithDead. I want to see it at the end of the preseason, because that is cinema, baby. All right, WalksWithDead trying to take a pizza slice. I don't think he saw the mutas. However, he's got so many turrets here. He's just turtled on in. This time, there's no holes. Now, it is going to be assaultable. They're going to find one at a time. But, I mean, we have a full tech tree here from WalksWithDead. We have turrets all over the place. Unfortunately, 8 mutas are going to be enough. He's going to get in there on the SCV line, ripping apart the gas production. And there's not a turret here. Oh no, this could be absolutely brutal here. WalksWithDead gonna be in a lot of economic trouble. His supply count, his worker count, equalizing with the Zerg. Supply count's still way ahead, but the fact that the worker count is equalizing is very scary. Gotta be bringing these Goliaths in here, though. Goliaths doesn't look like they have the range upgrade yet, but Goliaths are still very scary just because they're beefier than Marines and can really put a hurting on the Mutalisks. They don't deal much damage against them, surprisingly, because of the damage types. But these mutas are still starting to get shredded here. And Microling's gonna have to go home. This is a little bit better of a response, a little bit better of an answer to the Mutalisks this game from WalksWithDead than it was against Strawberry. I feel like this game was done after the game against Strawberry. The entire idea of, you know what, I'm playing mech, forget your bio. You know what, I'm not even gonna bother with tech transitions, just boom, here we go. He's got the missile turrets on the front line here with the tanks. Oh my God, I love these ideas. I love what it is he's doing here. Like, again, the execution, the timing might not be there, but you've got these ideas, you've got this creativity that, as the mechanics get better, are gonna really take off. But still, this is a ton of Mutalisks. There's only a couple of Goliaths and a couple of Marines. but they're starting to put some damage out there. They're running into the missile turrets. There's more missile turrets where that came from. These mutas trying to find damage anywhere they can, but WalksWithDead is actually rebuilding the SCVs pretty well. He's got the Goliath range. My word, I think these mutas just die, man. 3 and counting. These turrets and these Goliaths are absolutely crushing. We have only 8 army supply available for Microling. He has just spent so much time and effort in this, and we also had a vulture run by in the meanwhile, taking out the entire main of workers. He made it all the way through this gauntlet to take down the main. The multitasking from WalksWithDead, and Microling is going to have to take this time now to get the drone count back up, to rebuild the army. This is looking really scary, and I feel like, so in this scenario, in this situation, WalksWithDead has no idea how, you think that was a dropship? Yeah, that might have been a dropship. We knew he had the dropship, and yeah, there's one right over here in the corner behind the minimap. You can't see it, but that was a vulture drop. Good call, good call. So let's think about what each player knows here. So WalksWithDead knows about this base, but not the additional one over here. Actually, he might. I think WalksWithDead has full information here. This is actually going to be really scary. Like, he's in a fantastic position. Microling, on the other hand, has so many bases, but doesn't have the production, doesn't have the worker count, and doesn't have units right now. He's just continually going with mutas because that's what he can use to get in on these vultures. Meanwhile, if he doesn't get them here quick, these vultures might actually take down the hatchery, which is a line I thought I would never say. Instead, the vulture is going to be moving on to the next set of workers. This is 2 entire bases worth of workers being absolutely ransacked by WalksWithDead. Down to 13 workers for Microling. He's got, and we're gonna see even more. It's like I'm not gonna get in on the workers. There's the Sumpkins here, but he's setting up mines outside the natural. This is disgusting. And in the meanwhile as well, he's building up the worker count on the 3rd. He's got a lot of idle SCVs, but that's okay. And he's actually got 4 bases here. So WalksWithDead is in a very respectable position. Very respectable position here. Now, this is one where this game is chaotic, but this is one where the chaos hasn't destabilized the Terran player enough to make it be hard for them to have like the right control groups and the general like process flow. So like, you know, a lot of times you'll end up setting your control groups for like where your production is. You'll have your main, you'll have your natural, you'll like kind of cycle through each base. And in this case, I don't think that the damage has been substantial enough to really throw off that rhythm. Even though there has been a lot of damage to both sides. The fact that the workers are there, the fact that all of the bases are there, that no serious building damage has occurred, means that both these players are still finding their rhythm. And you can even see that Microling, who in his game against Straubles had like a 40 APM, is up to 100 APM. So that's not like crazy high, but that's over double what it was in the ZVZ. So this is definitely a case where Microling is still feeling the tempo, still feeling the way that the game wants to play, even if he's struggling for a lot of the finer tuned stuff because the game is just hard. Nice run in here from WalksWithDead. WalksWithDead is doing all of this with sub 50 APM. This is actually insane. This is actually insane. He's gonna keep putting damage onto this base. Look at this. This is only from Vulture run-bys, and he has it down to 400 health. Now, here we go. We've got Valks. 3 Valkyries on this pile of Mutalisks. But, oh no, I think the Mutas are going to take down the Valks. Unfortunate. Are there any upgrades in play? The +1 armor actually makes such a big difference when you have that many shots. But that is a huge amount of damage, and if they go into missile turrets or Goliaths, oh boy, is that going to be dangerous. There's a bunch of Goliaths here. If Microling's not paying attention and just goes right into that. Alright, he is paying enough attention to not run into the Goliaths. 4 bases versus 5 bases here. And Microling is on fewer workers. Oh no, he's going into the Goliaths! He's going into the Goliaths! This should just do so much damage here. I think he's gonna lose every single Muta here if he's not careful. He's not backing up. Oh, that is absolutely wicked. So 5 Mutas still. And 5 more here. Oh no, we've got Wraiths! Forget the Vultures, we've got Wraiths! The harassment never ends! The harassment never ends! Yes! Does he have Cloak? I don't know if he has Cloak. This would be the perfect time to pop it if he does. Doesn't appear to. But at the same time, just driving this back every single time. And the crazy part is, too, with all of these mines being planted from the Vulture run-bys, if he tries to reinforce and take out some of these run-bys or harass with ground units, then they might just get picked off by the spider mine and cause even more damage. Alright. Unfortunately, this Valkyrie is going to go down. Valkyries are not fantastic against Overlords. They're okay. They're definitely playable, but they're not fantastic. The Wraith just... Okay, that was a do-si-do if I've ever seen one. I don't know what to feel about that. He's actually going to get one Wraith, or one Overlord. And I think that was a misclick that resulted in a self-kill on a drone? Oh god, this game, dude. This game is so sick. Okay, I just got an update in Twitch chat too. Apparently, this was the first game that WalksWithDead did in this group, and Strawberries was late at night. So, or this was the first game Saturday. I don't know if it was before or after. I'm assuming they were both played on Saturday. But that really actually surprises me, although I could definitely see the, like, late at night effect, because, god, do I play differently late at night than I do, like, early in the day. But, yeah, this is actually kind of cracked. I want to see a big move out here from WalksWithDead. He has triple the supply on Microling, and Microling has nothing but these Mutas. Going for Hive at the moment, but what's he gonna go for with the Hive? Is he gonna go for Ultras? Are we gonna see Defiler Tech? Yeah, man. Another big squad of Mutas, though, but just take a look at how much, how huge this army is. Like, we have multiple control groups of Goliaths. We have, like, 15 tanks, I think, something like that. Almost. And these Mutas are going to run in and try and cause some havoc. But here we go. The Goliath start up. We've got the Valkyrie as well. The Valkyrie, even though he doesn't have any upgrades, just going to dish out damage far and wide here. Even a Science Vessel doesn't have... I don't know if he's got Irradiate. I don't know if he has the wherewithal for it either. But the Cloaked Wraiths, the Valkyrie, this is a lot of damage onto these Mutas. Yo, big shout out to Strawberry for drinking a Yingling. We had a stout in the game with WalksWithDead and Strawberry as well for WalksWithDead side. Man, I wish I could drink right now. I've been on a cut for a little bit over a month, and it just changes things. It changes a lot of things. Oh no, that Valkyrie gonna go down, but is there any vision? I think the Wraiths, yeah, the Wraiths are still invisible here, but it's only 2 Wraiths. But they're going to get a lot of pickoffs on these Mutalisks. He's got to get back in range of the Overlord, and the Overlord does not have speed. Oh, the Wraiths are just surviving. They're dancing out of vision, getting back on the workers. Just the... Oh my god, and he's going to retreat to the corner instead of... staying on the worker line, and this means the Mutas are just going to try and go back in. There's... Microling is still very, very, very under-droned and having a hard time managing all the bases. It has one base that doesn't even have any drones here, but it's just, there's so much going on in this game in particular that I really can't blame him. But here we go, bit of a move out here, an entire control group worth of Goliaths with +2 attack. He's actually going to be using that to cover this expand as well, expanding right into the face of the Zerg player. These Vultures going in, going to find an entire squad of Mutas, though. That's not going to get any results for you whatsoever, unfortunately. He lays down 1 mine on the entire volley, but that's going to get cleaned up. And now a couple of Marines. Marines going to suffer the same fate as the Vultures. But here comes... Okay, we've got more Vultures going in. The Goliaths and the tanks are off at the expansion. Ooh, I like these mine drops here, though. Yeah, we got the supply clearing. It has to make sure that you get all of the low-quality tech out of the way and bring in the high-quality Goliaths and tanks. We just need to see these Goliaths move forward. We got such a big Maynard of workers over here, too. He goes ahead and sets some mining. The Goliaths start to move forward as well. Do we have more production? No, we've just got the upgrades. We need to see some production back here. Yeah, the Zerg is catching up. Has a lot of supply here, and Microling is just getting faster. Like, the overwhelm is definitely real, but it's also that Microling is really starting to find his rhythm. This is going to be more than enough Mutas to crush these Goliaths, unfortunately, for WalksWithDead. WalksWithDead moving back into a bit of a macro cycle, but it's not going to be enough, and he's not running any of his factories right now. I think... So... WalksWithDead's wife was telling him to get moving at this point. Okay, that is definitely the biggest debuff you can have, is when the significant other tells you, hey, you've been playing for too long. Okay, I can definitely see that. So the Zerg just firing away with 2 full control groups of Mutalisks, taking out these Goliaths. And unfortunately, we just don't have the production or the Sim City here, really, to make it easy to produce a lot of units at once. So I'm gonna take a moment away from the action and hope that we don't have like too much insanity going on. But one of the things that a lot of players will do is try and cluster their production onto one screen, so that you can have like 4 factories in the same spot, and then you just like bring your camera over and you click, 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 and you make a round of stuff. And then you have like your starports, and they're all together, and you click, 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 and you have a round of stuff. So it means that like having all of your guys, having all of your production spread out like this makes it really hard to be able to produce things. But ooh, I'm liking this, baby. He needs to take out that Overlord, and those Wraiths can run free. But it's not going to happen, and I think this might be it for WalksWithDead. I think Microling's going to finally take this one, because he just has such a heavy, heavy supply of Mutalisks. even with all of the Goliaths, even with all of the production that WalksWithDead had, just a couple of faux pas when it comes to movement and some serious dedication to macro has Microling back in this game, back in the bank, and maybe back in the black, but the Overlord died. Hold on a second. The Cloaked Wraiths are ready to rip and tear. Oh my. And they're over the bunker. They're over. How many are left? There's only 5 remaining. The Wraiths need to get in there. They need to start doing some damage. The natural is mined out. The main is almost mined out. This game is going down to the wire, really. But the Wraiths and the turrets and the one Marine in the bunker is enough of a difference to drive off the attack. However, the banks are still huge. We've got more mutas where that came from. We've got 5 over here. We've got 3. We've got so many mutas, and we've got more in production where that came from. So I think that we can still see some more ogre zerging from Microling. Really, the only constraining factor is the gas, and the gas has been heavily disrupted. There's a lot of bases that aren't even fully mining gas at this point. There's just so much harass that WalksWithDead had done over the course of the game. It makes it really hard to keep track of. But even then, there's still plenty. There's enough to make mutas after mutas after mutas. And WalksWithDead has 7 Wraiths and working on them 2 at a time. The upgrades are just 1-0, but that's a lot if you don't have... the Overlord is there. Can he cloak, go in, snipe the Overlord, and then take out more mutas? He cloaks, he has to snipe the Overlord. He's going for the he focuses it down. Here we go. Now the Wraiths get to run free against the mutas, and the mutas watch the supply plummet. Watch how much they can do. Every focused volley should be a muta. He's actually chasing across the map. Microling looking for an Overlord to get vision. Some of the cloaks have actually expired here. The rest of them not much further. The paper airplanes might be made of paper in just a moment here. Trying to wrap around behind. Spores do give true sight, yes. They do give detection. But... oh my god, he's actually hiding behind the mini-map. I can't see it. We have all of those Wraiths behind here. We have a full worker transfer onto the 30s repairing. I mean, they've still got so much money as well. These guys can have like 5 more fights without mining at all. They both have banks that are bigger than Fort Knox. Setting up missile turrets. Those Wraiths are still there, by the way. These tanks and Goliaths over here. We have an entire base mined out on this side as well. Oh, are they gonna mine the map out? Is that how this game is going to end? Are we going to see a fully mined out map? WalksWithDead's wife is going to be so angry if we have this game go to a mined out map. Because that's where it looks like we're going right now. And at that point, we're going to have a 3rd player joining the map, and it's WalksWithDead's wife. It's going to be like the cat that goes across the board game when you're in the middle of it. It's just like, nope, you're not allowed to finish the game anymore. It just walks across the risk board. But the mutas, Microling coming in, looking for another option. There's not a base over there, buddy. Although WalksWithDead might be looking for it. Spots the SCV in transit. Boom! Down he goes. Here come the Cloaked Wraiths. He's going to find the Overlord. And again, the Wraiths are going to start moving on to the mutas now. The Goliaths putting in some damage, but they're going to get mopped up by the mutas. But just look at them fall. There's so much damage on the mutas. There's so much anti-air. He can't get anything done. This is actually insane. We have mono battles for the Zerg. It's just all Mutalisks, but WalksWithDead with a clever unit composition with clever control to snipe the overlords is returning fire. Suddenly we're back to a supply differential similar to what we saw in the early game, where it is double the supply for WalksWithDead. And now the Spore stacking at the natural for Microling. Now the question is, does WalksWithDead remember these 10 wraiths at the bottom left? He's got this huge army that's there that he can go take in the moving on the main and start trying to take out the defilers, take out the hive. Heck, he could go for the spire. You take out the spire, he can't make Mutalisks. That's all he's been making this entire game. And I mean, we have upgrades coming in for Microling for ranged attack, but he's not making any range units. He has one Hydra. And here we go, more wraiths. He's actually sending them to the same staging area. Oh my god, is this a misclick, or is this a absolute gigabrain stockpiling energy and setting up for a gigantic push on the main? Is that what he's doing right here? He just sneaks around behind. Are you kidding me? We have basically 24 wraiths back here, and we have probably about the same number of Mutalisks over here. Looks like 18-ish wraiths? And just stacking up missile turrets. Oh my god, here come the wraiths. They're cloaking, they're moving in. If he gets this spire, go for the spire. Don't even bother with the hive. Okay, starting on the defiler mound, that is tech. Go for the spire and you win. There's no detection. Oh my god. Okay, some of them, here we go. They do have the overlords coming in now, and this is just absolute bedlam. You can't even see, because of this aerial stacking, there's only 8 wraiths remaining, and I think the paper airplanes are going to live up to their nickname, because the wraiths do lose this exchange, but not by much. We're down to just 5 Mutalisks, but there's more where that came from. Still getting a little bit more, a couple more pickoffs. I know, Strawberry, out in Twitch land, you're sweating watching this. That's what I love about this, is it's just like, you can feel the tension. You can feel, I can hear WalksWithDead's wife getting angry at this point because of how tense this game is. And it's just like, too, it's not just the game, it's the fact that, you know, after it's over, WalksWithDead is going to be, like, super anxious, and he's going to have the adrenaline running, and he's going to be trying to drive his kid someplace, and his hands are going to be shaking on the steering wheel. Like, I know how this goes. And yeah, WalksWithDead could take the top right. He does take this base as well that he had been trying to sneak into. I don't know if either of them are actually aware of the presence of a base in the top right. Nobody has scouted that. But I mean, we're at the point where we basically have a split map in Terran versus Zerg. And not only is it a split map, this is a, like, every single base is fortified with mass spores, mass turrets. Proof by Pecan is talking about marital debt. That's the concept that's going around after this game is over. Alright, WalksWithDead set up a bouncy house after this is over. Yeah, dude, if I was trying to do that, my hands would be shaking the entire time. Yeah, I would just like, oh, we got ourselves a Valkyrie, but it might get poked and or get brought down, but they actually have equal upgrades: 2 armor and 1 attack for the mutas, 2 attack and 1 armor for the Terran Air. Unfortunately, that Valkyrie didn't get to stand and deliver, and these mutas are still looking very healthy. We need a couple more Valkyries all like together to really get that critical damage that you need out of it. And finally, Microling becomes aware of the lack of base in the top right. All right, trying to make a move, but this base is mined out. There's not a lot of value in it. Instead, just going after the missile turrets, and here we go. Oh my god, there's 4 Valkyries. Let's see the carnage unfold. Look at the blood fly. Look at the chaos rain. But the Valkyries are taking a lot of fire, and they're not getting damage onto the bulk of the mutas. The spread is pretty good. Trying to back up into the missile turrets here. This could be a lot of damage. More Valkyries behind it. Oh my god, I think he's going to get all of them here, and now he has a pretty decent cadre of Valkyries that he'll probably supplement with Wraiths, maybe even Battle Cruisers. Now, the problem is that Valkyries alone cannot win you a game. You do need anti-ground. The objective of Starcraft is to destroy all of the buildings, and with the exception of Terran buildings, buildings do not fly. So, with that being said, I do not think that worker kills are going to be very relevant here. And yes, we have a battle. We have an entire queue of battle cruisers. 9 battle cruisers in queue for WalksWithDead. He says, all right, it's time to end this game. If we're gonna end this game, I'm gonna do it in style. We're gonna take it slow, we're gonna make it happen, and you better damn well set a course. Another dozen Mutalisks coming in here. Now, he's trying to stack with an Overlord still, and you don't want to do that once you have speed. You want to use, like, a burrowed unit to be part of your stack. But still, they're taking out the base here, but look at the Valkyries! Absolutely shredding it! This is looking like a guitar solo, just shredding face. Boom, and down they go. And you know what we're gonna follow up the Valkyries with? That's right, if you guessed more Valkyries, you have earned, or not Valkyries, I'm sorry, following up the Mutalisks with more Mutalisks. If that's what you guessed, you earn a prize, and that prize is more Mutalisks, because that is the only thing that Microling knows how to build. Which I do find kind of ironic, given that their name is Microling. So, you know, not making any lings late game, not making any cracklings with upgrades, just nope, we are micro muta all day long. Now he's actually got a drone there, could use that for the stack if he's not paying attention, and that would actually be better than the Overlord because of the okay, now he is paying attention, unfortunately. I was really hoping for the stack with the drone. That would have been hilarious. All right. All right, we've got an extra starport here. He says 2 starports is not enough to satisfy my battlecruiser desires. So here we go. 2 BCs, 2 upgrades. And 6 Valkyries. Against, well, you guessed it, a dozen Mutalisks. So, I mean, we've got about 38 supply of army for Microling, which is 24 supply of Mutalisks, and the rest I literally don't know. Another Mutalisk. So, literally has 19, 20 Mutalisks, give or take, on the entire map. And then that's it. It's just workers from there on out. These Valkyries are going to earn their keep wherever they ended up. Right over here. So that reveals, but oh, here come the mutas and the Valkyries making quick work of it. No Scourge coming out. Instead, the production tab is, you guessed it, more mutas. I think I am ready to say, and I'm not going to say with utter certainty, and I'm not going to say this game's in the bag, but I am ready to say that I am confident that this game could be the first victory for WalksWithDead in the preseason. And moreover, this could be the game that gives WalksWithDead the right to celebrate with a bouncy house. Also, if I'm going too hard with that joke, feel free to yell at me. I think it's hilarious, but I know some people might think it's a little bit overkill. Check out the Valkyries here, absolutely shredding the stack of mutas again. And in come the battle cruisers. Valkyries actually going over the spores, need to be a little bit careful, but they're just tanking for the BCs. And the BC's just on a move. So strong at the moment. He's gonna lose a handful of, it doesn't lose a single Valkyrie to that, actually. The armor upgrades are a big deal. They have 4 armor. That's actually insane. And 4 armor against Mutalisks? Even with the upgrades, like, that means the bounces do nothing. No wonder those guys have such strong hulls at this point. And now we're just gonna see, like, kind of a victory lap for WalksWithDead. He's gonna take the battle cruisers and the Valkyries and just go around to every single base location and kill everything along the way. This is just like the sniper from TF2's game plan, because he's going to be efficient, he's going to be courteous, and he's going to have a plan to kill everything he meets. Or rather, it's going to be polite, not courteous. That's the one. He's even got SCVs there to repair the battle cruisers. This is so Giga Brain. Exactly, Pecan. WalksWithDead is a professional. WalksWithDead has to go. No! No! No, he's forfeiting! No! The only way I could be wrong. No! No! I can't believe it. A 46-minute game with a quadruple supply in the can. And we had to forfeit because WalksWithDead had to leave. He had the birthday party. Wow. I would have never guessed. Microling had the ultimate tech switch, going from Mutalisk to family. I have never seen Zerg switch into family tech, but holy crap, is that overpowered. There is no way to beat that. Oh my lord. Microling did nothing but make mutas the entire game. Never made a single Zergling after the early game. Never made a single Hydra after the early game, but still taking the win. This breaks my heart. I am giving the honorary victory. The honorary victory to WalksWithDead. Because you know what it is? Everybody out there in Chatland has said, what would WalksWithDead do? You know what WalksWithDead would do? He would go home and be a family man, just like Guile told him to. So that right there is the lesson that we have all learned today. Guile was right all along. Thank you, everybody. This was an absolutely bonkers series. What a way to finish it. Yo, if somebody out there happens to know WalksWithDead, and I want you to get this man as soon as you can a world's greatest dad mug, because that... All right, let me ask you this. Would Artosis do that? Would Artosis forfeit a 1 game for his kids? No way in hell. Not ever. This is the world's greatest Terran dad. And he's won our hearts. There's a 3-hour-long VOD proving otherwise? Okay, so maybe he would. Regardless. I find WalksWithDead in elite company, and even though he didn't take a win today, I'm happy with the results of everything here. Strawberry, thank you for asking me to cast this series. Thank you for asking me to cast this series. This is, proving the statement. All right. And honestly, I love StarCraft. I love low-level StarCraft. I love high-level StarCraft. I just love everything about this. Thank you guys for coming out here. I don't know if we got anybody else out there who we want to raid, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and let it go for tonight. Go ahead and for if any of you out there are not a part of CPL, this is Coach-Pupil League. It's a StarCraft league that's based around helping beginners learn, or even more experienced players get better. All right. IJ USA is he's running. Hell yeah, we'll raid him. All right. Thank you, everybody. God. All right. Go ahead and give IJ some love. And I know he's not going to be quite as entertaining as I was, but that's it takes all styles, you know? Have a good night.